Brilliant. Okay, good. Now that we've shared a little bit about ourselves personally, I want to share a little bit about about me personally. One of the things that I do for fun, aside from reading research articles and writing books and all of that boring stuff, is I run obstacle course races. So I run the races, like you saw with the challenges and stuff like that. It's really cool, actually. I started a few years ago. One of my friends approached me at the gym and said, hey, do you want to go and run the Spartan race this weekend? And I said, no, I don't run races. I don't like running. I actually really don't like running. He said, well, it's not like running. It's like you're running, but you're running in soft sand or up mountains or over rock or something like that. It's very challenging. And then every 500 or 600 meters, you have to climb over a wall, or you have to carry a big bucket of rocks, or you have to do something that's really challenging. And so I thought, okay, that might be interesting. So I went with him. It was only 5 kilometers, and it was called the Spartan Sprint. And so have any of you ever run an obstacle course race before? None of you? Okay, so I'm going to have to educate you a little bit. All right, so I ran this Spartan Sprint, and my 8-year-old self loved it. Because it was like a game of tag, right? Like I'm always running after somebody's always chasing me, and then every 600 meters I have to climb over a wall or swing on some monkey bars or swim through a puddle of mud or something like that. And I got to the end of this race, and you would not believe it. I said, how did I finish? Did I finish okay? And they said, you came in 82nd place. And I was like, yes, 82nd place. How many people are running? They're like 115. I'm like, okay, not so great. But 82nd place, and guess what they did? They gave me a medal. Yeah. I got a medal. Just for finishing the race. I didn't even have to win. I didn't have to place first, second, or third. All I had to do was finish, and they gave me a medal. And I was like, that is great. What a cool experience that is. Are there more? And my friend said, yeah, sure. This is only the 5-kilometer one, but they have longer ones. They have the 13-kilometer one. It's called the Super. I'm like, yeah, super. I want to be super. So I was like, yes, cool. So we found a super race, and I went and ran that one too, and I finished, and I did not do well. But guess what? Didn't matter. They gave me a medal. Right? And I was so excited about that. And then I was like, are there more? And I started running all of them, right? Like I've run the NAS Night Challenge, Desert Warrior Challenge, Old School Challenge, and I've run the Spartan. Oh, and then there was more. I figured out that there's longer ones too. Actually, there's the 5-kilometer one, the 13-kilometer one, and then there's 23 plus. And that's the Beast. And if you do the Beast, they give you another medal. And with each of these medals, every year, each of them comes with a small mini medal like this, which I'll have to show you because it's so cool. And you can take the Beast and the Sprint and the Super and put them all together like that and create a super mega medal, right? Which I got for not finishing first, second, or third in any of those races. Like all I had to do was finish. And I thought that was pretty cool. So when my friend came up to me and he said, hey, listen, I'm going to go and do the Tough Mudder this weekend. Do you want to come? And I said, Tough Mudder, what is it? It's another obstacle course race. Of course I'm going to go. Because I started to become addicted to these things. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to run the race. Okay, so I get up to the Tough Mudder. And at the Spartan, when you go to the starting line, there's always somebody with a bullhorn, like at the movie 300. Have you ever seen the movie 300 with Gerard Butler? It's basically just Gerard Butler and his abs for 2.5 hours, right? But there's got a bullhorn at the beginning of this race, and they say, all right, everybody, 3, 2, 1. What is your profession? We yell, right? Like just in the movie. So I was expecting that at the Tough Mudder, that somebody would get up with a bullhorn and yell like that, but it wasn't like that at all. It was a little different. I was in my fancy shoes and my running gear and everything, and the guy got up with the bullhorn. His name is Chris. He's a cool guy. And he says, okay, first of all, this is not a timed race. I thought, okay, that's weird. If it's not timed, then is it even a race? You know? It's not a timed race. And if you see somebody that needs help, you can help them. And if you need help, just put up your hand and somebody will come and help you. And I was like, that's really weird. Like, why would you say that at the beginning of a race? Because we're all just kind of running, right? Anyway, so I thought, whatever. There was no boo, boo, boo. We didn't cheer like that. But he said, okay, we're going to start the race now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And we all took off. Now, it was normal, mostly. Okay, for about the first 5 kilometers, It was normal. This was a 15-kilometer race. So first 5 kilometers, there was like walls and some obstacles, and there was these pits of mud. And then suddenly, I came up against something that I had never seen before, and it looked like this. This is the Loch Ness Monster. So I jump into this big pool of muddy water, chest deep in water. And what you have to do is you have to grab onto this block and pull yourself up and over. Okay? It's a huge obstacle. So what happens is I grabbed onto the block and I go to pull myself up and the block rotates. The whole thing is just rotating in the mud. It's absolutely impossible for me to jump over it. I'm stuck in mud, rotating this thing, and I suddenly realize I'm gonna have to make eye contact with somebody. So I'm gonna have to meet someone. Somebody's gonna have to help me, I'm gonna have to help them. So I'm looking around for somebody and somebody else jumps in. I don't know his name, he jumps in, single serving friend. Okay, and I said, do you wanna work with me? I'll help you, you help me. He's like, yeah, cool, okay. So we tried to solve the problem. And I said, okay, look, I'll hold it from here so it doesn't rotate. You climb up and over and then hang on it and pull me up. And he said, okay, cool. So he jumped over and he pulled on it and he got me up and over the obstacle. We dropped into the mud and then we did another one and then we did another one because there was 3 of them all in the same. And then we got up out of the mud and do you think we started running alone again? No. No, we realized very quickly this was not the kind of race you can win alone. So we started to run together. Now, I don't know if I was faster or if he was faster. I don't know, but it doesn't matter because we stayed together. We knew that we were going to need each other at some point, right? And it's a lucky thing we did because it was only about 2 kilometers more before we came up to this. This is the pyramid scheme, and I know, like, I put this in, but that's actually literally the name of this obstacle. Okay, this isn't me doing this. The Tough Mudder Corporation has named this thing the pyramid scheme, and it's evil. It is evil, and it wants to crush you. But you're going to need a whole team of people to solve the pyramid scheme because it's really tall. It's about 6 meters tall. It's made of slippery plastic, and you cannot run up this because it's too slippery. So the only way to get over this is to build a human ladder, 5 people high. So me and my friend, whose name I still don't even know, actually. I don't know his name. So me and my friend, we're looking at each other, we realize, okay, we're not tall enough, we're gonna have to make eye contact. So we're looking around for other people to help us, and there's this other group of 3 people, and they're like, oh, you wanna work together? Yeah, we'll work together. And I didn't even think, right? I didn't even think. I just got myself up onto the ramp, planted my feet, put my chest on the ramp, and I said, okay, go. And then some stranger that I had only just met 30 seconds ago stood on my leg, put his foot on my hip, stood on my shoulder, stood on my head, planted his feet on my shoulders and said to the next one, go. Then some other stranger that I had only met 30 seconds ago stood on my leg and then my hip and then my head and then climbed up and then go. And then another stranger that I had only just met was standing on me, climbing up to get to where they needed to go. And when they got to the top, the last one said, okay, I've got the top, you at the bottom, go. And that was me. I was at the bottom. So I had to grab on to the bodies of strangers that I had just met and climb this human ladder until I got to the top of the ramp. And then one by one, we pulled each other up to the top of the ramp and we gave each other a big, huge high five because we had only met about a minute and a half ago and we had solved this incredible problem. And do you think we started running alone again? No way. This was not the kind of race that we could win alone. So we started to run together. All 5 of us stayed together for the remainder of the race. And it's a good thing we did because it was only a kilometer later when we found this. This is Everest. Everest is, again, it's a slippery plastic slope like this. Goes all the way up to the top. But you can't build a pyramid to get up this. You can't build a human ladder to get up this one. For this kind of an obstacle, you need a hero. You need one person who can break that new ground, who can run really fast, put in all of the effort, jump, grab the top, pull up, drop down to their chest on the top of the ramp, and lower their arms so that the rest of the team doesn't have to work as hard. That's what you need for this obstacle. You need a hero. So everybody's looking around at me. I'm like, I am 10 years older than all of you. one of you should do it. And they're like, no, buddy, you look fast. You should try it. And I'm like, okay. So I decided I was going to try. I've never seen this obstacle before in my life, but I'm going to give it a shot, all right? You with me? Yeah. Good. So I'm going to give this obstacle a shot. So I back up a little bit, and I go to take off toward this ramp. And I'm running, right? I'm running at the top of my speed as fast as I possibly can, never having seen this thing before. And sure enough, 1, 2, 3, and I jumped up as high as I possibly could. And I missed the top of the ramp by a full arm length and smashed my face onto the ramp and slid down in a horrible pile of defeat. And then I heard it from behind me, the crowd in the background going, oh. And then the most terrifying thing I think I've ever heard in my whole life, a voice from behind me in the back goes, that's okay, buddy, you'll get it next time. And I'm getting up, brushing sand off of my face, and I look around and I'm like, next time? Are you kidding me? There's no next time. No, you try it. And they're like, no, you had the speed. The speed was fine. You can do it. You just have to take one more step on the ramp, just one more. I was like, okay, that sounds right. So I back up again, and I start tearing off toward this ramp as fast as I possibly can. Boom, 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 boom. I'm Superman now. Like I'm at lightning speed. And I put 1, 2, 3, take 4 steps on the ramp, reach up as far as I possibly can. And sure enough, I was able to hook my fingers onto the top of the ramp. And I was the most surprised of all of us. Everybody's cheering, yeah. So I pull myself up, turn around. You think I start running by myself again? No way. I didn't even think about it. I didn't have to consider what to do next. I just dropped down onto my chest, reached my arm down so that none of my other teammates had to do what I did. Boom, and I pulled them up, one after the other, all 5 of us. We got to the top of the ramp, we gave each other a big high five, and none of us started running alone again. We all stayed together, and we finished that race together. And we took a big selfie of the 5 of us, and I have no idea where that selfie was or who took it. But I'm hoping at some point someone will see this on YouTube and say, that was me, I was there. And then they'll share that selfie with me because I don't have it and I don't remember any of their names. These were all single-serving friends. And I know that you guys are smart enough to know that I haven't been talking about obstacle course racing for a while now. All right? What am I talking about? Teamwork. Yeah, good. You're all smart people. You all know exactly what I'm talking about. So I learned a few things from running obstacle course races. One of them is that well, you can't run a Tough Mudder like a Spartan. The Spartan races I can finish by myself, right? I can run a whole Spartan race and be alone. But I can't do that in a Tough Mudder. You have to be with people. And there was something I didn't tell you actually when we were on the evil one, the pyramid scheme. So we were on the evil pyramid scheme and the 5 of us had made a human ladder to get to the top. We had a 6th member join our team. But that person, he did not make eye contact, he did not talk to us, he just ran up, saw us as an opportunity, and climbed on me, and then climbed up our human ladder and just kept going. I was so mad. Our whole team was mad. We only just met each other, but that person didn't make eye contact. They didn't earn the right to share the effort, you know what I mean? And he just kept going. I was really ticked about that. I was seriously annoyed because you can't run a Tough Mudder like a Spartan. You can't run a race that requires a lot of people like a person that's running alone. It's not fair, it's not cool. You might finish faster, but you'll finish alone without honor, without respect. You know? But I also learned that you can definitely run a Spartan like a Tough Mudder. So now when I run Spartan races, which are races you can run alone, I never do. I always run with people. The people I run with make it more fun. Yeah, we might be a little slower, a little faster, it doesn't matter. We can help each other, and it becomes a lot more fun along the way. So you can definitely run a Spartan like a Tough Mudder. And the other thing I learned is that there's just some kinds of races you can't finish alone. Actually, there's a lot of races that you can't finish alone. And I started to think about that very deeply. How? How, I thought, is it ever reasonable? How does it become reasonable and rational for me, a highly evolved apex predator, okay? How does it become rational for me to let a stranger literally stand on my head to get to where they're going? Under what context does it make sense for a human to let another human climb them, literally standing on me with muddy shoes, and me with a big smile on my face saying, yeah, go? A stranger, somebody whose name I still don't know, stood on my head, and I was cool with that. So I started to think really deeply about teamwork and how we become organizations, how we become communities. And I started to think about how humanity had developed over millions of years. I started to think very deeply about this. And about how impossible it is to survive on the planet without each other. How impossible it is for us to be individuals and win. We cannot win as individuals. We learned 1,000,000 years ago that individualism among humans is, strictly speaking, fatal. It will kill you. What we decided, though, was that in small communities, first families, then tribes, then cities, then nations, then empires, and eventually businesses, what we found out is that if we partner together in projects, if we partner together to feed each other, to educate each other, if we partner together to gather resources on the planet and share them with each other, if we partner together for those things, we'll survive better. And so we learned as humans to be greedy, to be selfish on teams. And that is the most effective form of selfishness. If you want to be selfish, fine. Everybody's selfish. That's great. The most effective form of selfishness is to be on a team, because you can't even get through your day without interacting with thousands of other lives. The people who made your clothes, the person who put gas in your tank, the person who paved the road you drove on. There's the 1,000 lives that made your life possible today. There is no way you can do this alone. And we have this myth that sometimes we're running the race alone, that it's all up to us, that we have to do it. This is my hustle. It's all up to me. It's never, ever, ever been up to you. You have never been alone. You have never been on your own a single day in your entire life. That's a myth. We're in this together. And we've only ever succeeded when we work together very, very well on teams. So again, in the beginning, it was tribes and nations and empires and eventually businesses. Organizations like ours, like the ones that I was a part of, like Cutco and Melaleuca and Salad Master, like the organizations that you're a part of now. And sometimes, very often, you'll wake up and you'll be tempted to think that maybe you're in this alone, but you've never ever been in this alone. And I want you to remember that the best way to be selfish is together. That's the way we win. That's how we learn, that's how we succeed. Is we do this together or not at all. No human can survive this planet on their own. That includes you. This is not the kind of race you can win alone. So, what kind of a runner are you? Are you a Spartan or are you a Tough Mudder? And what kind of race are you running? And what is it that you want to accomplish with your life? Let's be greedy for a second, okay? Can we do that? Okay, I know we're not supposed to talk about greed, right? Because greed is evil. But let's be greedy for a second. Okay, let's be selfish. What do you want? What do you want out of life? What are you getting up in the morning and working for? What is it? Food. You want food, yeah. What else? Money, yeah, money. Let's talk about money. Money's not evil. Freedom, yeah, freedom's not evil. That's great. What else? Fulfillment, that's not evil either. Fulfillment is amazing. You know fulfillment won't make you happy though. Do you know that? I've done a lot of things in my life that have, you want to be happy? Eat a Big Mac. Okay? That'll make you happy. Watch Netflix. Okay? Scroll Instagram and like stuff. That'll make you happy. You'll get little triggers of happiness in your brain. Okay? You want to be happy? Watch TV. Watch Stranger Things or whatever. Okay? That'll make you happy, but it's not going to lead to fulfillment. You know what leads to fulfillment? Things that won't make you happy. Starting a business, running your own business, raising a child. Okay? I've been a parent for 21 years. I can tell you about 15% of it was pure joy. The other 85% was work. Same thing with my companies. I've started 5 companies of my own. 15% of that was absolute joy. The other 85% was work. Writing a book, finishing a degree, whatever it is you want to do in your life. You want to achieve that target? Fine, go for that target. But the targets that will lead you most fulfilled in your life are the ones that 85% of the time will feel like work. That's why it's fulfilling. Things that make you happy, go eat a bag of candy. Have a chocolate bar. That'll make you happy. You want to be fulfilled? Get to work. Am I right?
Yes.
Good. So what kind of a life do you want? And what kind of a race are you running? This is not the kind of race you can win alone. You cannot run a Tough Mudder like a Spartan. And you can definitely run a Spartan like a Tough Mudder. So tell me, what do you want out of life? What else? We got food, fulfillment, money. What else? Shopping? Yeah. Let's do it. Let's be greedy. Okay? We want to go shopping. That's awesome. Sorry? Reward yourself. Yes, 100%. And the best, most effective way for you to reach those goals is in community. Because none of you can do this alone. Okay? Why are you here? And also, why are you here? Let's talk about ketchup for a second. Ketchup's super important. You put it on everything, right? Fries, potatoes.
I love ketchup.
I love ketchup too. Not as much as my sister-in-law loves ketchup. She puts ketchup on vanilla ice cream. Okay? That is a love for ketchup. So I was restructuring the Atco company in Oman a few years ago, and they're the largest manufacturers of ketchup in the Middle East, right? And they've got a salesman there named Mohammed, and Mohammed is the best ketchup salesman in the Middle East and North Africa. He sells tens of thousands of metric tons of ketchup every year. He's the best salesman in the ketchup industry in our whole area of the world, right? So I'm sitting down with Mohammed, and I'm like, dude, how come you love ketchup so much? And he laughs at me and he says, oh, Dr. Corrie, nobody loves ketchup that much. Except, again, my sister-in-law loves ketchup really that much, okay? But anyway, so Mohammed says, nobody loves ketchup that much. I said, well, why are you doing what you're doing? He goes, I didn't wake up one day thinking I wanted to grow up and become a ketchup salesman, right? I'm here because, first of all, I love my family. I want to give my kids education options that I didn't have. I want to give them a quality of life that I didn't have. Secondly, I love my team. I love my sales team. I get to hang around with my best friends all the time. That's cool. Thirdly, I love the game. I love it when my clients say yes. And I get to give them something that they need, and they get to give me something that I need. And I give them resources, ketchup, that they can share with their economic community, and they give my team money, and my team gets to share that among our economic community. Yeah, that's the game. That's why I do it. Nobody wakes up passionate about ketchup. You know, most humans, most of the time, we don't actually care what we do for work. What you do is very secondary to why you do it and who you're with. If you like who you're with and you're clear about why you're there, what you do, it doesn't really matter. You can pick up garbage and be very, very happy as a human being. What is not important? Who and why are extremely important. Are you clear about why you're here? Nick brought it up earlier. It's like, what is your why? Why are you here? What's the legacy that you want to leave on this planet? Be clear about that. Be clear so you can be selfish together. Be selfish on teams. But you have to be clear about why you're here and what kind of team you want to play with. Am I right? Yeah, think about that. Because this goes back a million years. This is the best practice for survival. We can't do this alone. It's not the kind of race we can win alone. And nobody wakes up passionate about ketchup. But somebody's got to be the best ketchup salesman in the world, and that happens to be Mohammed. So you might not wake up every day going, oh man, I'm so excited about pushing cosmetics around the world again today. You know? Or finance products, or education products, or whatever it is that you're moving. You might not wake up in the morning every day passionate about your product, and that's super fine. That's fine. I'm telling you now, it's totally cool to not be passionate about what you do. As long as you're passionate about why you're there and who you're with. Because what is secondary? You know what I mean? And you're pushing every day those products, those things that you're selling. That's just the way that humans have been surviving for 1 million years. Like we saw it in the video. It goes back a long time. We've always been trading stuff with each other. You trade money for resources. You trade money for resources, and that's how you get your share of resources to fulfill your dreams and raise your kids and feed your family and put gas in the tank and food on the plate. And that's just the way it's been going for 1 million years. This is not new. This is not new, and the way you're doing it is not that new. This is the way it's been done. Selfish on teams. And what you do is secondary to who you're with and why you're doing it. You know, there's no such thing as companies, right? Companies, it's funny because when you watch the news, they'll say, Tesla thinks that the electric car is going to take over the ICE within the next 4 years. Except that Tesla has never had a thought ever, because Tesla doesn't really actually exist. Okay? It's nothing, there's nothing there. Your organization doesn't really exist. It's a pile of products and a few assets and stuff, but actually, it's a collection of people. What really actually exists, what really thinks, has an opinion, and makes statements is people. People do that. So your organization as a company doesn't really exist, but as a bunch of people, that exists very well. And so your particular economic game, which is actually what your company is, it's an economic game. It's not a religious thing. It's an economic game. You're playing an economic game with a whole bunch of people, and hopefully you'll win the World Cup in your game, and you'll be the Lionel Messi of your team, and that would be amazing, right? But it's just a game. All the rules are made up by people not smarter than you, by the way, okay? And you can have fun playing the game, but yeah, your company as a company doesn't really exist without you. It only exists because 10,000, 100,000 families every day, each of those families sends one representative from their families to play an economic game, so that hopefully if you win enough resources in your economic game, all of your families eat, all of your children are educated, and all of your dreams come true. That's what we're actually doing here. The company itself isn't really important. What's really important is that every single member of your team is the representative of a set of dreams and a community that needs a share of the resources that you're going out to collect together. That's what really matters. It's just a game. It's arbitrary. You could be playing any game. You could be playing the ketchup game or the aviation game. It doesn't matter. You could be playing the electric vehicles game. That doesn't matter. You could also be playing football, which is also actually literally a game. And it's also a multi-billion-dollar industry. All of what we do for business is just a set of games with rules that are made up by people not smarter than you. And it's how we organize ourselves so that we can share the resources on the planet so that everybody gets fed and all of the kids get educated and all the parents get cared for. Am I right? You with me so far? Yes. I know, we've covered a lot. Like in half an hour, we've covered like 1 million years of evolutionary history. This is great. Just 2 or 3 more minutes. Every business transaction has a personal benefit and cost to someone. I don't know how many times I've been told in my career, oh, buddy, it's not personal, it's just business. You ever heard that? It's a lie. It has never been true. It will never be true. Every single business transaction between companies or between individuals has a personal cost or benefit to someone. When one company wins a contract, another company loses. Resources from the planet move in the direction of the winning company. When you win a sale, resources move toward your family. When you build your downline, resources move toward your family, toward building your dreams. That's intensely personal. That's not just business. Am I right? Good. So play the game like your life depends on it, because I guarantee you it does. This is just the way we've been doing it for a long, long time. You chose your community and your community chose you. You joined for personal reasons that may or may not have anything to do with the products that you sell or the services that you provide, and that's entirely fine. And everyone else in your community joined for personal reasons too. We are all selfish. And we learned a long time ago that our best bet at being selfish is to do it together. So I want you to be able to answer today 2 questions. One is, why are you here? And the other one is, why are you here? Did you hear them? Okay, why are you here? First one. Why are you here and not somewhere else? You're all apex predators. You're all the cleverest organisms that have ever lived on the planet. You're all the products of 10,000 generations of successful survival and adaptation. You're very smart individuals. Why did you choose to do what you're doing now? Yeah? Because it'll get you to your goals. Yes, because we're selfish together, and our best way of being selfish is together. Yes, it'll reach you to your goals. You are not a victim, you are not a slave, and you are not an idiot. Okay, you didn't get suckered into this. You're not a victim. You made a deal. You decided to join the team. Great, you're on the team. Now that you're here, you're not a slave. If any of you want to walk out of your team, you can do that, right? You're not trapped. You're not stuck. You're not slaves. And thirdly, you're not idiots. You are here fundamentally because this is the best, fastest, most effective way for you to reach your personal goals that have nothing to do with your product or service, by the way. Because if there was a better way for you to reach your personal goals, you would be doing that. And you're not. And you're not an idiot, so that's why you're here. This must be the best way. Okay, great. Second question, why are you here? And not someone else? We're not that special as human beings. We're all, yes.
Because I am the one who is responsible about my goals.
It's exactly right. You are the one that's responsible for your goals. You figured out this was the best, fastest, most effective way for you to reach them. You're here and not someone else. Not because of your CV. Your CV clearly doesn't matter. You're here because of your character. Because you're a kind of person. That's why you're here and not someone else. You're a kind of person. Not a slave, not a victim, not an idiot. You are a kind of person. You're the kind of person that would choose this lifestyle for building your dreams. And that is not a mistake. I am here today. Hopefully I'm going to be sharing with you again this afternoon. But I want you to be selfish together. I want you to be clear about your vision for your life. And I want you to tie yourself to an amazing team in an incredible game. And if you can tie yourself to an amazing team in an incredible game, then together you might win the World Cup in your industry. And then all of you have food on the plate, gas in the car, the vacation homes that you want, the dreams that you're trying to build. You all succeed all at once or not at all.